Here's a portion of a recent program on American History TV.
After the siege at Chattanooga and the winter quarters between the Army of the Tennessee, now under Sherman, when Grant comes to Virginia, Sherman's going to lead his men on a campaign similar to the Overland Campaign happening simultaneously to get to Atlanta. That's the goal. And while Joe Johnson, and later John Bell Hood's Army of Tennessee, is following Sherman, they're going to meet up occasionally throughout this northwest Georgian countryside. Well, I shouldn't say countryside, it's very mountainous. And along the rivers, the Chattahoochee, the Allatoona Creek, these armies are going to come into sight with one another. So here's what transpires in the spring and summer of 1864. Again, different armies, different campaigns, and here's what's going to happen. So this man, named Henry Welch, he is a private in the 123rd New York Infantry. So he writes, "Our picket line is in speaking distance of the rebel pickets. We exchange papers with them every day. They think, or did think, that Lee was whipping Grant badly. They say that they are going to drive us out of Georgia. They also say that Hooker's men fight differently than Western troops do. They wanted to know if Hooker's men were mostly regular soldiers." And so in this case, you can see Private Welch writes in his diary that not only was he exchanging information, but also something that I'll talk about in a little bit, these camp rumors with the enemy along the Allatoona Creek. And this is a few days before the slaughter of the US troops at Kennesaw Mountain on June 27th. And so someone that I want to show you or illustrate a reaction to is not a Confederate soldier opposite of him, but rather his officer who observes this. And that is his divisional commander, General or Brigadier General Alpheus Williams. And so he has a division under Hooker's 20th Corps. And Williams observes this position, and he is flabbergasted at these interactions he sees with his men. And Welch is in his division, and so while watching Welch and these other private soldiers, here's what Williams has to say. Oh, and this is the best part. He writes this home in a letter to his daughter, which is also very interesting. So he writes to his daughter, "For the last few days, our pickets completely fraternized. They have been exchanging papers, coffee, tobacco, and the like. The next day, I found them actually sitting together on the banks of a small stream. I was obliged to stop fraternal intercourse. Isn't it strange that men in mortal strife 1 hour are on affectionate terms the next, and apparently fast friends? Strange are the incidents of war."
That was a portion of a recent American History TV program. You can watch the full program and all of our history programs anytime online at cspan.org/history.